Hi guys, and welcome to the presentation of my game development project. Today I'll be taking you through how I created my log cabin environment, including the steps I took, the inspiration I used for the project, and plans for the future with this piece. So first I'd like to talk to you about the inspiration I took when making my environment. Here is a piece of work I chose as reference for the project. This was made by an artist called Thomas Scala, and there are a few reasons why I love this project and decided to make something similar. The first thing being, I love the use of natural light within the work. There are two huge windows either side of this open plan living space which allow massive amounts of light to enter the scene. This is something I wanted to use within my project. Another thing I liked about this environment was the modern style. This is a style I'm really interested in, and if I did have my own living space I would want it to look something like this, which is modern but simplistic. I wanted to create something similar and add my own ideas and design choices. Thomas is a great archivist designer and he has given me a lot of inspiration for the future. As well as trying to stick to a piece of reference, I also have my own personal development goals for this project. My primary goal was to enhance my skills with texturing, and in particular my work with Substance Designer. I think texturing has been a weak area over my first 2 years at university, and I saw this as a brilliant opportunity to enhance these skills. Whenever I had made materials in the past, they had been from a tutorial, so I never knew what each node did, so I was determined to understand the software and the main nodes. A stretch goal for me was to improve my skills within Marvelous Designer. Making any cloth-based material relies on being good with Marvelous, so if I could get to grips with the software, I would feel I had made strides in becoming a better modeler. My first step in making my own environment was to block it out. This ensured that I knew what I was doing when it came to creating all of my assets and materials. I wanted to recreate the large window from Thomas's work. This would be the main design feature that I created the room around. Another design feature I liked was the amount of wood used in the interior design, so I went about designing a wooden roof with beams and planks running through the design. This would be accompanied by a wooden floor, and for a final touch I would have a bath as a centrepiece of the bedroom, as this is something that is modern yet simplistic. The best thing I did and the best tip I can give anyone creating an environment is to get all of your assets into the game engine as early as you can. The first thing I did after bringing in my initial block out was to learn more about Substance. I spent hours watching videos and tutorials and learning what each node does and how they can be incorporated into making a material. Here is my final wood texture. So guys, this is my wood floor material that I made within Substance, as you can see here. I just wanted to run through how I set up the material and all of the nodes and why I use the nodes and what they did to the material during the process of making it. So I started off with this wood instance which I made in itself. This was made using some shapes, some noises, a few directional warps to make the wood look warped, and I brought that into this. So from here I made a tile generator, which was obviously for the tile for each of the tiles. I then put this through a blur node just to make it look a bit more realistic because they looked a bit too flat. I also then put it through a warp node to make it a bit even more realistic so that all the planks weren't the same. And that was the tile grain. So I then took another tile generator from the same one and made the colour variation 1, and I was going to use this to give all of the tiles a different colour so they didn't look too linear. So I took this with the wood instance, run it through a pixel processor, and basically what a pixel processor does, it takes all the tiles and moves the wood pattern around so you don't get the same tile every time. Run that through a gradient map along with another gradient map of the tiles that I'd made, and that gave me the the different coloured tiles. So we then blended that with the other tile, and that gave us the full tile for the base colour. And then we took a directional noise and ran this through to give it a bit more of a wood feel. Played with the levels to make it a bit brighter, and then I went on to add some scratches to the wood, as you can see. So I took a grunge map and ran that through a scratches generator along with another scratches generator that I made, flipped them with the levels, put them through a blend to make the final scratches, pop them into a gradient map so that they blend with the wood, and that gave me then my base colour and my normal map for the texture. Now the last thing I did with this wood texture was to make the roughness map. So I took the pixel processor, the grayscale image, and blended that with the warped tile, which gave me this, and then inverted the grayscale to make sure that the values were right, messed around with it with the levels, put the black level up, and blended that with the scratches generator that I'd produced for the base colour. As you can see, that put the scratches in, and that was my roughness map. So it came out like this. I was quite happy with the material. Maybe some tweaks could have been done. Maybe the roughness map I could have worked in a bit more, but I was happy with it because it did make it look quite polished within my final Unreal file, which I was quite happy with. Creating this wood texture shows how far I've come over this project. It has made it so much easier for me to make materials and has also given me a great wood material for my portfolio. I do not intend to stop here though, as I want to become even better at creating materials, as this is something that I have enjoyed learning. Now on to the other goal I wanted to reach. Here is the last thing I created in Marvelous Designer. As you can see, I created some clothes for the character I made in the second year. Although I was pleased with the outcome, I felt it lacked detail and realism. This is something I wanted to improve at. Again, I watched some more videos covering the software, and through this I made these pillows for my bed and the cushion for my chair. I was really pleased with the outcome, as these pillows have a sense of realism about them. In particular, I like the folds and bumps I've been able to create, and I feel this is something I haven't been able to do in the past. Again, Marvelous is something I want to look at into more detail, and in the next semester's project I would like to experiment with it more. Here is my final environment. I'm generally happy with the final result, and I think it's my best piece of work to date. I think I've successfully emulated the lighting from Thomas's work, mixing natural and artificial light to light the scene. I think I managed to create a good enough looking wooden roof. However, if I did have more time, I would go into ZBrush and add some more detail to the beams on the roof to make them look more realistic. Going forward into my future study, I would like to develop this project further in the next semester. My plan is to extend the project so I create more rooms leading from the door in the corner. This would include a hallway leading off to a landing and a bathroom. This would allow me to work with more natural light and expand my knowledge further. I think some more smaller details could be added to my scene, possibly a shelf in the corner or some more props for the tables, but I think the amount of assets I have in the scene is a good amount. I hope this task can propel me to learn more about my trade and help me to master it. It has motivated me as I have achieved what I set out to do, and I look forward to seeing how it can develop my skills in the future. Thank you for listening.